Bonsai Bloke. Here you go. Today, guys, we got the good old Aussie Bottle Brush. Australian icon treat. Callistemon. Got the old black soup going, the old black coffee. Still on my diet, my OMAD diet, 1 meal a day. It's been a long, hard slog, good month of dieting, but we're getting there. We're getting there. The beers will come out soon. We're getting there. And then back to beer. Oh, love that black coffee, beautiful. Apparently you put milk in your coffee on the OMAD diet, that's breaking your fast, so black coffee it is. Anyway, today the video is going to be a video on how to look after a bottle brush after it flowers. As you can see, the flower's pretty well finished, starting to fall off. Put out an absolute crap load of flowers, really healthy this year. Just done so well. Really surprised because it struggled last year, and towards the end of summer it struggled. So really surprised at how well it did with the flowering. Done bloody awesome. Bloody beauty, mate. Well done. So now, what you got to do, once it flowers like this, if you leave it and don't cut it back now, it'll put all its energy in. So I'll show you these shoots. I'll cut one off. Okay. What'll happen, it'll put all its energy into this new shoot here, and this, all these shoots behind will start to fall off and die off, and then it'll get long and leggy and then shoot out there, and you'll have the old seed heads here, and it'll have to put a lot of energy into producing seeds as well. So not ideal. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut all the flowers back. I'll just bring you a bit closer. So basically we're going to do what we normally do, just cut each branch back to a shortish shoot for ramification. So here we'll leave, you know, say six leaves, or they're not really pairs, they're alternating here, so 6 leaves. And you can see I've cut back here, cut some leaves, the flower, and then the new shoot. I probably could have done this a week or so ago, but I've been a bit slack, so we're about a week. That last video that I just uploaded in the last couple of days, the late spring tour, that one was actually made about a week and a half before this video. I was just too damn lazy to edit it. So there we go. I've been bloody slack lately, guys. Just useless. Just been doing a bit of stuff, bit of gardening, and I've just been useless. I haven't been doing much as far as bonsai. But we'll get back into it. That's the beauty about bonsai. When you get another spurt on to go back to work on them, you can. And if you let them all grow a bit long for a year, well, so be it. Could give you good structure for the year after. But every year I seem to struggle to find enough time to work on them. But that's just me being slack. I've got to get me butt into gear. Now that I've lost a bit of my belly, hopefully I'll have a bit more energy to put into my trees, and I won't sit down on the couch drinking beer and eating potato chips. We'll see. See what happens. I do feel like I've got more energy now that I don't have such a big gut on me. But I do have a little bit more to go before I can get back into the beers. I want a bit of a buffer zone. Alright, so anyway, so we're cutting behind the flower buds, cutting the shoots back shortish. There are some dead twigs on here as well, which I'm going to cut back if I see them. Also, I'm going to cut anywhere where there's 3 shoots, I'm going to cut them back to 2. I could possibly leave you guys live for all of this because, you know, there's not actually a lot to do. But yeah, this tree, hopefully now, cut these flowers off and it'll get lots of energy for get a lot of energy over the summer if it doesn't burn. It's sort of semi under that new shade that I've got up that you've seen in the last video. Well, you've seen me put it up as well, but we've got that one up now. So this gets sun until, I'm going to guess, about 12:30, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'd say. It gets sun until then, and then it goes into that shade cloth, which is fairly heavy shade. Like, I would say it would be at least an 80% block, maybe even 90%. But it does save it from that really harsh afternoon sun. And then when the sun goes right down, about maybe an hour before sunset, I would say, the sun gets down. There's like an hour, maybe a half-hour window where it can actually come back underneath the shade across all the trees and just give them a little touch up before dark. Give them a bit of a touch up, and then down the sun goes, and then the trees go to sleep for the night. But so far so good, you know. They seem really happy in there. I've got to do another fertiliser treatment very soon. I've been a bit slack on that, but mainly the heat, you know. We've had wind and heat that you wouldn't believe. It's just been crazy. If it hasn't been hot, it's been bloody windy. And almost even too windy. Last night I was going to do a video and it was that windy in the shed here that the whole shed was banging around and rustling around. We had about 30 to 35 knots of wind, and it was just crazy. Which, to people that don't know, that's 55 to 60 kilometre per hour winds, and it was just blowing the shed around everywhere. So we've had that, and we've had the heat. Like, I've had a 43-degree day here last week already, end of November, so that's a really hot November day. We don't generally get November days that hot, but this year we did, and actually last year we did too. I mean, maybe I'm just remembering it wrong, maybe we do, but I just feel like we've had some hot days. We've had no rain at all. My shelter belt trees, I haven't watered them yet. Didn't even water them before the 43-degree day. I didn't water them before that, just to see how they would go. I wanted to. My heart wanted to water them. I was really keen to water them, but I didn't bother watering them. I thought, no, I just want to see how well they're developing without having to water. And I went around for a bit of a look the other day, and in general, hello Leo, what you got? A bit of wood. And in general, you know, there's the odd one that burnt, some of the little ones, but in general, they survived it pretty damn well, you know. That most of them have still got all fresh growth on even now, and they're just powering ahead. So I think what I'll do is, before the next heat wave, I'll give them a good water, the shelter belt trees. But it does mean they're getting a good root system, so I'm really happy with that. And it'll mean that at least, you know, I can only just give them a little bit before major hot weather this year, and then next year I'll just completely leave them on their own, leave them up to their own devices, because to be honest, they cost me a crap load of money on water, money I don't have, and it's just huge water bills. Like, I'm talking $2,000 a quarter to, you know, lawn as well, but I reckon the trees themselves would have been $1,000 per quarter for this, at least for the worst 6 months of the year. So I would have said it would have cost $2 grand to keep them watered last year, which is a fair bit of money. But you know, they're coming to an end as far as having to look after them, and then they'll, you know, treat us well in the years to come and give us plenty of shelter. And if anyone else is watching this that has no idea what I'm talking about, which is quite possible you might not have seen it, you can go back and have a look at my shoulder belt tree update. I planted a heap of eucalypts and mallee and whatever else out there, some native pines, and that's to block some of the wind in the future. It'll be 20 years before we really see any decent wind block. I'd say within the next 5 to 10 you'll notice something, and it'll be 20 years before it really gets cranking the trees, and then hopefully you won't get any wind around here, and the whole place will look so different. And the garden beds we've got outside as well, they're starting to grow, they're doing really well this year. Keeping on top of them. But anyway, back to this bonsai. I'm just chopping everything back, like I say, to past the flower. If it's a really short shoot with a flower on it, I'm cutting just behind the flower. Cut all the flower off. No. Go out the door. Come on. Come out this other door. Okay. Bloody fussy dog. Now he wants to come back in. What's wrong with that dog? So, I don't even know what I was saying. Who knows? Let's just start talking about something else then. So yeah, I'm cutting them back. The really short ones, I'm just cutting just behind the flower. The really long extended ones, I'm cutting well behind the flower, but I'm just making sure I'm leaving no flowers at all. Because one, I think it looks ugly if you've got the seed pods on these things, and then you get no growth in that area, ever, I don't think. And also, seeds do take a lot of energy away from the tree. I mean, you know, I believe a tree wouldn't put out seeds if it didn't have energy to produce, you know, to turn them into, or it wouldn't put out flowers if it didn't have energy to turn them all into seed. So I believe the tree's probably strong enough to turn them all into seed, but by cutting this back now, what you're going to do is you're going to actually stop it from trying to produce seed and make it produce more growth and more ramification, which is what we want, especially on this tree after the last 1.5 years trouble it's had, because this thing here, a couple of years ago, had masses of ramification. This whole thing, you could barely see into this. And in a way, it kind of looks better now because you can see it all, but yeah, it did have really, really good ramification. So there's another branch that died, and this has happened all over the whole tree. Just branches that died everywhere. Because, well, to go back, I let it burn the summer before, and that was after I didn't chop back after it flowered. What happened? I didn't chop back after it flowered, and then it elongated the growth really long. All the inside leaves and branches fell off. So then I come back and cut back to those inside branches that didn't have any leaves on at the time. These bud back really well, so you can do that. So it was a naked tree. I did a video of that one too, if anyone wants to go back and see that. I think it was Australia Day, my Australia Day video. I think it was that I cut it back, cut the flowers back really hard, and it was basically naked. And then what happened is we got a massive heat wave in January, and I think the watering failed, and to be honest, it was a 49-degree day, and even stuff that, see, this whole branch is nearly dead, and then even stuff that the watering didn't fail still burnt, and this was out full sun, in this little pot here, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, she burnt bad, really bad, and it all had all new fresh growth from where I cut it back hard. It had all fresh buds on it, fresh growth, and that all got burnt off again. So you can imagine it's gone to all that effort pushing out new shoots after I cut it back really hard, and then stupid me has left it out on a really stinking hot day, let it dry out, and it seriously got burnt. And then the poor tree had to then try and push out whatever it could before the end of summer, autumn, before winter. It pushed out whatever the poor tree could, which was surprisingly enough growth, which would have got it through. And I was surprised at how it came back, considering that was its second flush of growth. It got bitten off by the sun real bad. Then the poor bloody tree, I'll tell you what, then we had a massive frost of -5, and that's just too much for this tree. All the growth that grew at the end of summer going into autumn, and then it carried that into winter, got burnt again. I think it's going back nearly 2 years. Yeah, it got burnt again. And then what happened, come summertime, it was basically naked. It barely reshot. And then what did reshoot was weak and crappy. And it has really died, pretty well died since then. A lot of stuff died off and didn't rebud because it's already spent that's its third lot of pushing out new shoots in no time at all. In probably only 6 months, third time of pushing out really hard just to get bitten off by the frost. And then I'm pretty sure the summer after that, which was last summer, it actually got a little bit of burning again, but not too bad. And then I've had it basically in rehab, looking after it, shading it, making sure it's always wet, soaking it on hot days, pulling it even inside on hot days. All winter this last winter, every time there was a frost warning, I brought it in the shed and had it sitting in the window in the shed, even if that was for a week, and just babied it, really babied it, because I'm telling you, this thing was nearly ready to just die. Some of the weak growth and the shoots that were coming out on the thing were scary, absolutely scary. And this is one of my favourite trees, absolute favourite trees. And to think that I almost killed it by treating it so damn bad, you know, break your heart. And then, now here we are. She's powered out some flowers somehow. She had enough energy to do that. So really excited with that. Put on a really good show. Now let's hope some of the old fogies around say that if a tree puts out masses of flower, it means it's about to die, it's stressed and gonna die. But I'm hopefully not of the opinion, but I'm of the hope that it just had so much energy that it just wanted to put out a lot of growth, a lot of flowers. That's my hope. That's what I'm telling myself. So that's what it is. Because I don't want to think about it the other way, thinking that maybe it's on its last push. And looking at some of this growth, I think it's fine. You know, this growth is really healthy. So this bottle brush, I think, pretty sure is a Captain Cook, which is your miniature bottle brush. It is 30 to 35 years old, probably. Maybe older, we don't know. Don't really know. As far as I know, it was actually never dug out the ground. It's been in a bonsai pot its whole life. So it could, I bought it already, you know, pretty well set up in this shape. pretty well set up in this shape maybe 4 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago, and it was in pretty poor health then because they had it in the shade with the back of it against a wall. I got it to really beautiful health to where it almost had too much ramification and stuff on it so you couldn't even see into the tree. And it had such little fine growth everywhere, and then what I told you before happened to it and we nearly lost the poor thing. So, you know, anywhere from a 30 to a 50-year-old tree, and I nearly killed it through neglect. So sorry tree, I'll try and make it up to you, mate, and we'll be good to each other. I'll be good to you, you'll be good to me, and we'll get you back on track. Like I say, a lot of dead branches around. I'll start cutting some of the dead ones off. I'll leave a few on, just, you know, tells a story about how close she came to dying through my neglect, not through the tree's fault. The trees kept trying to push back and I kept bloody putting it in situations which were not good for the tree. So 100% my fault. I'll own that. And let's hope me and the tree can have a long life together. See, even branches like this, that was a beautiful big branch. Now it's just got two spinning little bits of growth on it, the rest died back. This thing was seriously close to dying. I know I keep saying that, but it really was. I actually was watching. It took so long for buds to come out on it that you would not believe. See, this branch died. This is a big old branch. 100% dead. Might leave a bit on it, tell a story, but you know, that was an old branch. Sad, very sad. Don't worry, mate. You're looking pretty good now. Looking pretty sweet now, mate. Okay, I reckon we're pretty good. I don't want to cut it back much harder than that. You know, it's gone to a lot of effort to get that much green back on itself. I mean, the tree are going to spend hopefully another 50 years with each other at least, and then maybe, you know, maybe it'll move on to my son after that. Let's hope. I'm really going to make sure I care for these trees better than I have been lately, because especially with the water, even if I get lazy now, even though I have been lazy in the last, you know, since I did all those videos in a row and I lost a bit of interest and got a bit lazy, I haven't neglected the trees as far as making sure they're watering. I've still been going out there and looking at them, making sure they're wet, making sure the sprinklers are working well, turning on a hot day. I've been, you know, go out there and give them an extra boost during the day, a couple of extra waters. I've been getting up to 4 waters a day on some of the really hot days. So I've been really, you know, keeping a good eye on their health anyway. Not so much trimming them and all that, but at least they're watering to keep their health up. I've been doing that. So, you know, we can get back into a tree anytime and trim it up again, bring it back into proportions, but as far as the health, that's the main thing. And sometimes letting them grow out, you know, let them grow out for a little while, as you'll see with some of the other trees I'm going to work on in the next few weeks, actually improves the health. You know, you get nice big strong branches, and then when you cut them back, if you cut it back a really strong good branch, it will actually really push some really strong branches out. Oh, another thing, I'm just going to do a quick update. It's going to be windy on the video when I go outside because there's a bit of wind again today. But when I do a bit of an update, I'm going to do an update on that. Going to do an update on the box thorn that I pulled out with the ute. You should see how many shoots on it now. It's gone absolutely mad. So I'll do an update on that one now. Okay guys, we're outside, windy as, wind's going again, so let's hope you don't get too much noise. Anyway, look at this. So I've got this boarded up here because it had no roots on it when I pulled it out with the ute. So I've got a board screwed into the bench, a board screwed into the tree itself. Okay, so that it can't wobble and tear off any new roots that grow. I've also got it wired down here. But look at the growth on this thing. These things are so damn hardy. Putting out shoots everywhere. Just shoots on shoots on shoots. Even the old wood, really old wood. I think I counted this one for you guys. I think it was at least 20 years old, this box thorn. Just amazing. Even right at the top. You know, halfway down the trunk, some coming out. Bloody awesome. It actually pushes some of the bark off while it does it. So I think the front somewhere will be here and it'll be a really tall tree. So that's really cool. So I thought I'd just show you that update. We'll get back to the tree in a sec. I did just want to show you something else. Pretty sure the effort for this big olive is for nothing. It would have been so awesome if that thing grew. Because I dug down here in the dirt and the bark on this thing is all pussy. Just really pussy and it just falls off. So I think it's gone. I really think it's gone, but we'll see. Might reshoot somewhere. Always hold hope, but don't hold much for this one. Bugger. Because that was a lot of effort, me and Laurie. But, you know, not all lost. We got this one here. So that one's got shoots on it everywhere. So that'll be a pretty cool tree anyway. Really cool tree. Massive as well. Has a massive trunk at the back. I don't know what I'm going to do with the trunk at the back because the actual best viewpoint I think is here somewhere. Get that weed out of there. Oh God, I'm so hopeless with weeding. Just bloody hopeless. The old ton tree. Awesome. Alright, back to the shed guys. Hopefully you guys seen that. Drink some more black coffee. I don't know guys, I reckon we're pretty well done here. Pretty much it. Pretty happy. I'll give you a spin of the tree on the way out. Hopefully get some good shots of the girl. Good job baby, good job. You're doing well. Alright. No worries. Cheers for watching Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Please like, share, subscribe. Tell your mates about the channel. If you haven't subscribed and you're a long time watcher, don't bloody bother. And if you want to subscribe and you've just watched a few, go for it. Cheers. Alright, spin on the way out. Thanks again.